Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Jay the One-Eye Gamer video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some brand new information that dropped for Granblue Fantasy Relink. I know, crazy, right? 2 years after the fact, but this information comes to us courtesy of the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase that happened a couple days ago. And what's cool about this is, we thought Cygames was kind of done with anything Relink related because the last thing they gave us was a DLC character, and no new like missions or other content as well, so we figured, oh, I guess Cygames is done, and they have no desire to continue supporting Relink because I guess they're done with it. But lo and behold, during the showcase, we were shown that they were actually doing a big expansion called Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok, and I think this is what we've all been waiting for because it is a massive update, guys. I'm talking like a brand new mode, brand new mechanics, new playable characters, new consoles, and something else we're going to get later into the video talking about. But I want to structure this a little like how I worked my Garden Arena video, where I'm going to cut this up into segments so you guys can check it out on that timeline to see where you want to go to. But I'm basically going to go over the new gameplay mechanics with content, then it's going to be characters, and then we're going to do the release date with some other information, and then the finale. Without further ado, guys, let's jump into that brand new content because get ready, guys. It is a lot, and it is all, I think, really good for the longevity of this game going forward. So one of the new content that they're adding is that all the quests are now going to get a higher difficulty setting, that being Chaos tier. I don't know what the current high difficulty is in the base game, but Chaos is going to do that, and all that is basically just going to be like harder versions of those quests that will give you better rewards and everything else that comes with that. So pretty basic in my opinion for an upgrade. But then they're also talking about 2 boss fights that they're adding as well, which are really interesting. The first one they're touting is the battle with the 2 Eternals that join you in the game as playable characters, those being Sieti and Soln. I know what their English names are, but I'm going to call them Sieti and Soln just because I played the mobile game. That's how they're pronounced in the mobile game, so that's how I'm gonna do it. But other than that, from when we look at the gameplay footage, it looks crazy. Like Siete is going crazy with summoning his swords and also summoning his avatars as well, and then we just have Solon flying all over the place peppering people. And let it not be said that Granblue Fantasy Relink doesn't have some amazing looking boss fights. I think this is going to be great. And then another boss fight they tout is adding one of my personal favorite villains and summon to the franchise, Beelzebub, Bub for short, and he just looks amazing with his gold regalia. Like, look at him. Now I'm very curious to see if he gets his song from the game as well. My personal favorite song for him is Existence. I think that came out for Granblue Fantasy Versus, and then they adopted it into the cell phone game. I could be wrong about that, but if he does get his own like theme for the boss fight, I really hope it's that, because if you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's a really powerful piece, and it just gets me amped, and it kind of sets the stage a little for him as a character if you really want to listen to it. Just be aware it is about 8 minutes long, but I think it's 8 minutes well worth it in my personal opinion. And now moving away from the 2 raid bosses, they also talked about a brand new class of enemies called Ragnarok, I believe they're called. I apologize immensely for the pronunciation if I butchered that, but they make it sound like these are brand new enemies and raids that were added specifically for Endless Ragnarok, and they don't really go into a whole lot of detail. They just state that they're stronger than what you fought before, so I wonder if that means they're just higher level or if they actually drop or have different gameplay mechanics around it. But what's very interesting from my point of view is that maybe they're tied into something that's going on with the expansion pass itself. Maybe they drop certain rare materials that are only accessed in the expansion pass instead of the base game. We don't know. That's all conjecture on my part. Another thing we can talk about is the fact that, at least for the Switch 2 version, you're going to have local co-op, which is pretty cool. You can't do that on the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5. With the PC version, they've made it clear that that's still going to be primarily an online feature, but the fact that they're adding something like that to the Switch 2 is pretty cool in my opinion. It's just a shame we couldn't get on the other consoles, but hey, what are you going to do? You know, gotta take your wins where you can, right? And so that'll kind of do it for what is basically generalized new content. Now, what I really am looking forward to talk about with you guys now is some of the new gameplay mechanics that they're adding, and the first one we're going to talk about is summons. Now, in the original mobile game, summons are very important because they usually do a lot of damage and they also give you beneficial buffs. We didn't really have anything like that in Relink, but they have stated that Luria will now be joining you in the fight and she will be able to use summons. Now, what's cool about these summons is they made it clear that some of them will be fully playable for a very short duration, but you can play as some of them, and what's cool about that is some of them are the bosses you fought in Relink, so basically you're just going to take that and use it against the peons or other bosses as well. They also stated that some summons won't be playable, but they will have other benefits, such as maybe giving you buffs for your character, for the whole party, so you get to play with that and you get to set your own. I think they give you 4 you can play with, so I don't know what the cooldown is for that or what if there's any special requirement to do that, and I don't know if Luria will be also on the battlefield with you at the time, but it is pretty cool to even add that new feature, which they didn't have to, and I can only imagine that probably took them a decent amount of time to figure out how to get those summons to show up on like certain maps and also how to get them to work probably quickly in certain battles without potentially crashing the game. But don't worry, my friends, the summoning fun is not over, not by a long shot, because thanks to that, we are courtesy granted a brand new gameplay mechanic as well called Primal Burst. Now basically that just takes the form of the Charge Burst, but instead of it just being your 4 characters, Luria shows up, and instead of being the elemental attack of the person who started the Chain Burst, she uses her ability to call for summons to actually be the final hit, which is really cool. Now they didn't tell us what the prerequisites are to actually do that as opposed to a regular Chain Burst, nor did they tell us if we have the ability to choose the summon or if the summon is going to be random. But either way, I think it looks pretty cool, and they are doing a lot with summons because they didn't really do a whole lot with them in the base game. They just kind of showed up and they were there in the background that Luria just did, and when you also of course summon Bahamut to do those cool summon fights, which I kind of wish we had a little more of, and I wonder if that was the cause to actually add these playable summons into the game. Either way, I'm 100% happy with this. And now let's talk about the brand new single player mode that they added called the Conflux. Basically it's a roguelike from my understanding, so each run is going to be different, and I think the lower you go in the tiers, the stronger the enemies become, and they're touting this as a good place to go if you want to level up crew members, so I guess that's a fast way. They've also talked about how there's going to be different tiers as well for the depths as you go through, so it all seems very interesting. And I'm not a huge roguelike myself, I don't find the massive appeal to it, but this doesn't seem bad, and it also seems like a great alternative to people who just want an easier way to level grind characters, which I would really like that because I did kind of lose steam a little bit when I was trying to level up like the party I used offline. But what's also cool about this mode as well is that we also seem to get the return of the Gachapin Roulette, and if you guys don't know anything about that, it is a special event that comes out during mostly big events for the mobile game, primarily like end of the year, the anniversary month, and also like summer as well. And what it is, it just gives you the chance for like free rolls, so you can like, you know, pull either characters or summons or other stuff for the gacha mechanics, and it's just side games giving it to you for free, and it lasts for a decent amount of time. Now I don't know what that's going to play like in Relink since there's really no real gacha system involved, but it is nice to see Gachapin back, so that's pretty fun, I think. Alright everyone, let's move away from the new content and the new gameplay mechanics and talk about what you really want to hear about. Those are the 4 new brand new playable characters that are being added courtesy of Endless Ragnarok, and those characters being Beatrix, Eustace, Galanza, and Magliel, with the latter 2 actually being foes from the base game that you couldn't play as, but people have been wanting them added to the mobile game since Relink came out, so that speaks to how popular they are. And Magliel, I know, definitely has a big push for her to want to join the game, and I think that's just because her playstyle is so interesting. She uses her ability to summon swords and fights with that. I can't wait to see what she'll look like in gameplay, but her, Galanza, and Eustace don't really have any gameplay shown of them. Galanza and Magliel, we can just speculate based on how they act in the base game what they're going to use. Eustace is a gunman, so think of the same level as Rakum, but he's not going to even remotely probably play the same as Rakum. And the only one of the 4 who's actually got any kind of gameplay mechanics that we know of is Beatrix, because she is the first one that actually has shown up out of the 4 to be playable. So we'll go into her a little bit right now. So what we're told about Beatrix is that she is a frontline, self-buffing attack character that excels at combos. Now, her big gameplay mechanic is her Delta Clock. Now, what that is that when you click her style button, it pretty much activates the Delta Clock, and with every press, it changes the hand on the clock to a different location. And each different location has a different buff that goes along with that. One increases her attack, one increases her defense, the other increases her health. And basically what this does is it gives her a little flexibility on the battlefield so she can fit certain situations. But the whole point is you want to get the clock to its full path so she can go into her altered state, which gives her increased attack speed, which makes it even easier for her to combo, which we want to do. And basically she is a selfish character in that regard. Now, if you don't know what that means, it is that she doesn't really bring a whole lot of utility to the group in the form of her buffs are all local to her. So her attack, defense, and heal are only for her specifically, so she doesn't really add on a utility level for the whole group. But if you just want a high DPS character, it looks like she will fit that role, and it's just a matter of what you're looking for with the team comp. But I don't know how big of a play that is in Relink. I know it's a bigger thing in the mobile game, but at least in Relink, if you have competent AI or even friends to play with, it seems as long as you can keep her healthy and keep her buff active, she will probably shred through enemies and potentially bosses as well, and her animations look sick. And I know she's a fan favorite alongside her best friend Zeta, so it's going to be cool to have them in the game and interacting with each other. That's all the information we got from Beatrix as a playable character, and like I said, the other 3, Eustace, Galanza, and Magliel, we don't really have anything on them as of right now, so I'm assuming the closer we get to the release date, which I'll talk about next, we'll hopefully see more or see them shown off. But at least for the two foes, we can glean that maybe how they acted in the base game as enemy characters will probably translate over to how they play as playable characters. I just hope they don't get like a massive nerf to come with that, because their boss fight together near the end of the game is really a spectacle. Like, it's just crazy to watch, and I hope we can still keep some of that frenetic energy when we're playing as them. But that's going to do it for all the playable characters we got. So like I said, now we're going to talk about the release date and the other special thing I was talking about as well. And so like I was saying, guys, the release date for Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok is July 9th, and it's coming for the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Now, what's also going along with this game is they're also treating it as a standalone as well. So if you never played Relink, it is going to come with the base game of Relink and with everything else that's in the expansion pass of Endless Ragnarok. Now, for guys like me who did buy base Relink, we are getting an upgrade path. There are two options. First one is the standard edition, which is for $24.99, and all that is just it's going to take base model of Relink and just up it to Endless Ragnarok with all its content. And then you have the special edition, which is going to include pretty much what the standard edition does with some other bells and whistles, and I believe it's also adding all the DLC that came out for baseline Relink as well, so you'll have all that when it starts up. And another fun thing that we're getting with the game is something that we've been asking for since it first came out, and that is crossplay. So that way, if you have friends who like played it on PC while you were playing it on 4 or the 5, now you'll be able to play with them along with the Switch 2 players as well. And if you guys are interested, you can check out on the screen, they are doing a closed beta test for the crossplay, and if you want to sign up for that, you can go to their website and sign up that way, and it is going to run from March 13th to March 16th. So yeah, that's pretty much all the big information we got on Endless Ragnarok. And honestly, I don't think any of us thought this was going to happen, because like I said, we kind of thought Relink was done, because Cygames kind of just gave us those DLC characters and then we're like, okay, we're done. So we kind of thought like, oh, okay, I guess that's how it is. But it's very nice to see that Cygames was like, nah, you know what, one of our biggest franchises and it's its first console debut, nah, we need to do something. And I'm very glad that they decided to do like a big expansion pass. Now, this has got me hopeful that maybe they're going to support it a little longer. Who knows, maybe we might even get like a couple DLC characters as well, which I would love. There are some characters from the mobile game that I think would do wonders in Relink, but that's a little speculation on my point. And also, hopefully this means that they're even thinking about the next Granblue Fantasy like console RPG experience, which I think Relink was such a good base. Just improve upon that, and now that we're getting Endless Ragnarok and that's improving on the base of Relink, just take all that and use that for like the next console game. I think it's going to be amazing. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank you very much for watching the video. Please, in the comment section, let me know, have you ever tried Granblue Fantasy? If not, are you going to try it now, or are you going to wait for Endless Ragnarok to come out and do the whole thing? Also, let me know, guys. I was thinking of maybe doing some like gameplay of Endless Ragnarok when it comes out, and I just want to know if you guys would be interested in something like that, because when I was doing recording for my Garnet and Arena video, which link should be in the description, I really enjoyed making that. I did do some recording of Relink, and I had a blast doing it. It reminded me how fun the game is, and I just would think if you guys be interested in that or not. But let me know in the comments section. I'm rambling at this point. I want to thank you guys very much for watching the video if you made it this far. I want you all to have a great day. I want you all to be safe out there, and remember, let's rock.